Hello and welcome to Breaking Bread with Rivaaj Maharaj, where nothing is off the table. For today's episode, I wanted to talk about the war in the Middle East between Israel, the United States, and Iran, and the neighboring regions that are being affected. So, in particular, I want to talk about, Qatar having shut down its natural gas production due to attacks by the Iranians. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I've done a video previously regarding, and I briefly touched on this, the natural gas situation between Iran and Qatar in a previous video. However, this latest war that has just begun in the Middle East, between Israel, Iran, and the United States, has had some dire consequences for the petrol and gas, the oil and gas industry. And I wanted to talk about the gas industry in particular, the liquefied natural gas in particular, because Qatar and Iran share one of the world's largest gas reserves. It's referred to as the South Pars North Dome Field. And it is a natural gas condensate field located in the Persian Gulf. It is by far the world's largest natural gas field. The ownership of the field shared between Iran and Qatar. Now, why this is important is because the Iranians, whilst being under heavy American sanctions, have always been concerned about the way in which the gas was being extracted from this region by the Qataris. From my understanding of it, there's no way to tell whether the Qataris are actually only tapping into their part of the gas reserves or whether some of the Iranian gas is being extracted from this region as well. And remember, because Iran is under sanctions, the Qataris are having a field day extracting this gas, selling it on the open market and making lots of money. And this is something that has been worrying the Iranians for a very long time. Now, one of the consequences of this indiscriminate shelling by the Iranians on their Gulf neighbors is that Qatar has halted production of gas in this region, the natural gas in this region. And I'll read through this article that I found by Al Jazeera. Gas prices soar as Qatar Energy halts LNG production after Iran attacks. This comes after Saudi Arabia announced temporary closure of one of its largest oil facilities following drone attacks. So the Saudi's oil company Aramco has also been hit. Some of their production facilities were targeted by the Iranians and they've sustained damage. And the article goes on. Qatar's state-run energy firm says it has halted liquefied natural gas production after Iranian attacks, sending gas prices soaring in Europe and Asia, as Saudi Arabia announced it was temporarily shutting down some units at the Ras Tanura oil refinery located near the country's eastern region after a fire broke out following a drone attack. Due to military attacks on Qatar Energy's operating facilities in Ras Laffan Industrial City and Mesaid Industrial City in the state of Qatar, Qatar Energy has ceased production of liquefied natural gas (LNG) and associated products, the world's largest LNG producer said in a statement on Monday. So you see, Qatar is the world's largest LNG producer, and Iran is fearful that the Qataris are extracting some of the gas that belongs to them. Now, the unintended consequences of this indiscriminate shelling means that the Qataris have seized. So that actually plays into the hand of the Iranians. Now, when you look at Saudi Aramco shutting down some of its oil production, because their facilities have been targeted. This means that the oil price, we knew that once the Americans and the Israelis began this campaign, and it was over the weekend, that come Monday morning, the price of oil would hike. There would be a hike in the price of oil. And certainly there was. Gas as well. And the Russians, who are exporting oil, are going to be the beneficiaries of this price increase. Let's get back to this article. Shortly after the announcement, benchmark Dutch and British wholesale gas prices soared by almost 50%, while benchmark Asian LNG prices jumped almost 39%. Earlier, Qatar's defense ministry said the country was attacked by 2 drones launched from Iran. One drone targeted a water tank belonging to a power plant in Mesaid, and the other targeted an energy facility in Ras Laffan industrial city belonging to Qatar Energy without reporting any human casualties, it said in a statement. All damages and losses resulting from this attack will be assessed by the relevant authorities, and an official statement will be issued later, it added. The Saudi Ministry of Defense, in reports carried out by the state-run Saudi press agency SPA, said 2 drones had attempted to attack the Ras Tanura refinery on Monday morning and that a small fire had broken out after they were intercepted. Footage verified by Al Jazeera showed plumes of smoke rising from the oil facility located on Saudi Arabia's Gulf Coast. The ministry said the refinery sustained limited damage, but there were no casualties. Ras Tanura Oil Refinery, one of the world's largest oil processing facilities and located near the eastern city of Dammam, has a capacity of 550,000 barrels per day. The facility is home to one of the largest refineries in the Middle East and is considered a cornerstone of the Saudi Arabia's energy sector. The attacks come as oil tankers have been piling up on the side of the Strait of Hormuz, through which about 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil and bulk of Qatari gas flows. So you see that the Americans shut off the tap in Venezuela to China. The Chinese were getting cheap Venezuelan oil negotiated at a really good price. The Americans have now cut that off, and they're prepared to sell oil to whoever wants to buy, but they're setting the price. The plan in Iran would be exactly the same. However, prior to the Americans and Israelis hitting Iran, the Indians agreed to purchase more oil from Venezuela, and the Russians agreed to sell 46% more oil to China. So China was weaning itself off Saudi oil, and I think the writing was on the wall for the Chinese regarding Iranian oil as well. And that is why they pivoted towards Russia. So, I haven't seen much happening from the Russian side regarding this war. I haven't seen much happening from the Chinese side regarding this war. We know they've supplied weapons, and if you're ready to pay, anybody will supply you with anything. However, I know that they say that there's a lot of intelligence behind the scene being shared, especially by China with Iran. The Iranians predominantly are alone in this. They've alienated whatever allies they had or would have had in the region. And, the Turks are also very quiet about what is going on. And all the while this is happening, Afghanistan and Pakistan are at each other's throats. So, this gas supply being cut off is going to be something that is going to affect the Europeans. Although we only get, I think, something like 2% of our gas from Qatar. Business is business. The prices will go up. Companies will take advantage of this, and the prices will go up. So I just wanted to highlight this, and I thought it's something interesting to follow. And I want to thank you for spending time with us. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, as it helps us with the algorithm and it helps our channel to grow.